Hello, everyone. It's me, Tesla. This is probably one of my most favorite video games for PS1. It's Beyond the Beyond. Oh, yeah. This was actually one of the first RPGs for PS1, and man, was it awesome. It's made by Camelot, the same people who gave us Shining Force, another really good series of games. Move this down a little bit. Sorry, I'm doing this post-commentary, and it's hard to do, actually. You know, sometimes I wish I could mute my mic just for these segments. But it's really hard to do that without making a lot of noise. So I try not to do that. And now we start on the title screen and see a rather pretty lady holding a pet dragon. Interesting. I'm going to stay quiet during the storyline segments, just so you can enjoy them better. The only time I will say anything is if there is something really important to speak of. Otherwise, nothing. And I'm sticking with the default name, which is Finn. And since we're about to see a lot of storyline, I'm probably gonna try and mute this. Okay then. That was a while. But let's search around our room real fast before we go downstairs, because there's probably stuff to find. Maybe. Oh, we found an herb. Huh, I wonder what other series herbs come from. Oh well. I also changed the options a little bit, because the menu in this isn't exactly the easiest on the eyes. So I go into settings to change that. I also changed message to fast, though it doesn't stay that way for very long. But anyway, time to go downstairs and see what's up. Andy is a bit rebellious, but I'll get into that later. Meanwhile, let's search for more stuff, because stuff is awesome, and there's a lot to get, like that sword I just picked up, and that antidote, and that herb. Huh, too heavy. A storage trunk, really? Oh, that's kind of nice, I guess. Ooh, a light shield. I'll take that. Holy crap, the mother load. I only take one antidote for now, and you'll see why later. I'll make a note of that. But awesome, we're all decked out. Jeez. This seems a little more generous. Already taken care of, buddy, trust me. I changed the message to medium in this, which I'm going to regret later. My original reason for that was I was going to give people a chance to read the dialogue before I scrolled it off. But honestly, it really doesn't help as much as you would think, so I'm not going to do that in future episodes. And it does tend to slow it down considerably. That sounds very foreboding. Could it be foreshadowing? Nah, couldn't be. Now, from the moment I started playing this game, I knew there was something I liked about it, but I couldn't put my finger on what. It wasn't until I was older and started playing this that I started thinking, Hey, this game reminds me of Dragon Quest. I mean, the graphics are a little more polished than you normally expect from Dragon Quest. At least from that's true for the early ones. But wow, the similarities are amazing. And since I love Dragon Quest already, it's a no-brainer that I would love this game. I mean, it just has that same feeling that Dragon Quest usually gives off. Before leaving town, I like to check around everywhere to see if there's any items lying around. Because just like Dragon Quest, you can find items just about anywhere, just by searching on the ground, searching on a log, searching on a grave site. I mean, there's no telling where you're going to find it. Under a table? Yes, there are items under tables too, so remember to check those if you're going to play this game yourself. I'm also doing this post-commentary if it's not obvious. My reason for that is I didn't really have my audio recorder around when I was actually recording it on the DVD recorder, because it's in the living room and not in my room. So that's a bit of a problem. If you talk to the people, they'll usually just speak about the Cave of Spirits and the Bandor Empire. And that's basically it. So you're not going to get a bunch of important info out of those guys. But who cares about that? We need to go to the Cave of Spirits. Now, the battles in this game are a little bit different. And better, if you want my honest opinion. Our first enemy is a small bat. Now, the way battles work are pretty simple, though I think I'll wait until after this battle to actually explain it. And you're about to see why, too, because I'm not going to have all that much time to actually do so. The small bat dies pretty fast, see? Okay. The battles. I'll explain Annie in a second too, by the way. Okay, there are 3 different stats you get in this game. Vitality points, VP, life points, LP, and magic points, MP. Vitality points are essentially your HP in this game. Once it goes to 0, you're considered groggy. That's where LP starts coming into play. LP is actually used to bring you back from grogginess. You get about as much HP back as half your maximum, and each LP gives you 2 HP, or VP in this game. LP is an interesting stat to be sure, and one that you're going to end up loving by the time this game is over. Oh, trust me, that stat is useful. Do keep in mind, though, that instant death spells ignore LP and will kill you outright. So that makes them a bit more deadly in this game than in other RPGs. Now, critical hits in this game are also a bit different. They're called super attacks, and there are several versions. One is the normal super attack, which will automatically happen every so often, and you don't need to push any buttons for it. Then there's the blue streamed special attack, or super attack I mean, which if you can get by pressing left and the X button while the blue crystal is hovering over yourself. If you keep mashing it, then the odds of you getting one is increased substantially. Then there's the gold super attack, which does, I think, 3 times the normal damage. By pressing the right directional button and the X button, you can get this to trigger, but it happens considerably less often than the blue streamed attack. And the final one is the uppercut, which you also get by pressing the right directional button and the X button at the same time, and keep mashing it. You don't get this until you reach a certain level, and if you are on a much higher level than your enemy. You're not going to see this very often, so try not to worry too much about that. Until much later. That's about all I can say about the battles. Though there is one thing I want you to keep in mind. If you level up, the VP, LP, and MP you get from the level gets added right afterwards to what you already have. So let's say you had 3 MP before the level up, and you get like 3 MP from the level. After the battle, you would have a grand total of 6. This isn't really all that helpful, but it is kind of helpful in very rare situations. Like, let's say you're out of healing magic and you're about to die, but you need a level up, and it gives you like 4 MP. That would give you enough MP to get a couple more heals in. Not the most useful thing in the world, but you would be surprised at how often this has saved my neck. And I wish more games were that generous. Sadly, no such luck. Oh, you sucker! Oh, you piece of crap. This is the first dungeon. I'm not supposed to have to resort to my LP just yet. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, the main character doesn't really get his own super attack. Rather, him and Steiner just team up to do their own version. It's not the strongest in the world, but you do get it a lot more often than most super attacks. And it's actually, it happens a lot more often than the others. I think I just said that, actually. And I think it's actually pretty strong. I think it does like 2 times the damage of a normal attack. Also, I don't think it can miss, which is also pretty nice. Other super attacks can't miss. Oh great, thanks Annie. You just had to go to the left, didn't you? I see this being a problem. But anyway, let's go look for the spirit water. We'll go chase after Annie another time. This dungeon isn't the hardest in the world, but unlike most RPGs, you can die pretty fast if you're not careful enough. It's happened before. Having a lot of herbs is actually pretty helpful here, since your main character doesn't really have any healing magic, and the enemies and their damage output can add up pretty fast. I think one time I actually sold herbs in town just to have enough money to for later, since most RPGs don't really require a lot of item use. And I came to regret that. Although it is worth noting, you can store your gold in that chest, so you won't lose half of it if you die. Yep, again, much like Dragon Quest, you can actually go back to where you last saved and keep everything you've gained before you die. I like that. And I'm pretty sure at some point in this Let's Play, that's going to be exploited. Because this game can get hard when you get far enough in. But we'll see. I might get lucky. I have before. Not really much else to say about this place. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The battles aren't that hard. Especially if you know how to use the special super attacks, which I do. Also, if you do the button combination when it's the enemy's turn, you will occasionally block their attack or counter attack. So be sure to do that during their turn as well. Pressing the right directional button and the X button, though, usually works more often. And because my computer is a bit derpy, sometimes the video will freeze for a second and have to speed back up. So I apologize if this is a cause for concern. I don't know if it'll happen on your side, but it happens on mine a lot. Ugh, jeez, I wish I had a better computer. Sadly, good computers with Windows 7 is kind of hard to come by. And we're not made of money, so there's not much I can do about that. But anyway, time to go chase after Annie. Also, enemies drop herbs in here fairly often. So if you're lucky enough, you shouldn't even need any herbs from the town. All the same, I'd probably come in here with like at least 3, just in case. The Source of Wisdom, okay. This is essentially a stat-up item. There are different sources, and they all do different things. They're a lot like the seeds from the Dragon Quest series, where they're kind of rare, and they have a random effect on your party member in terms of how much you get. But there are some different types of sources aside from just stats. I will cover those in a much later video, though, since you won't see one of those for quite a while. Also, if you haven't noticed, I tend to talk pretty fast. So, I'm hoping that you can actually understand what I'm saying. And I got 2 LP from a level up, which is nice. Since now, if I end up losing on my VP again, I have some LP to fall back on. I'm gonna try and remember to occasionally go back to this town to deposit my gold, but there's no promises. That's something that I tend to forget to do a lot in this game. Darn it, how far down is this cave anyway? Jeez. Oh crap. Yeah, I was afraid of this. Darn it. Oh, brother.